So, my darlings, the day is the 10th of April. Yeah. Well, I've only just finished work. However, a collection of books has headed my way, and it's something that I have been waiting for some time to get them all three together in the condition they're in because there aren't many available. I took what I could. I will say they were a pretty penny, about £40 each. Yes, there are some that are up and some that are down, but these are first edition paperbacks. And this particular subject is a plague, a specific kind of plague. And we'll start with the first one. It's it started with a mouse. Yes, there once was a windmill in old Amsterdam, and they saw a mouse where, and I wished it had stayed on the chair. Unfortunately for the people of Ant Hill, no, it did not. Anyway, without further ado, let me introduce you to After the Fire by John Lockley. There we are. That's the ISBN number. Now, these are really hard to get as first editions. There are plenty of second editions, but I, being me, quite like a first edition. And let's say they were a pretty penny. Copyright 1994 by Dr. John Lockley. So the gentleman that wrote this is a doctor. In fact, I can read you a little bit about him. John Lockley has been a GP since 1976, the year that I was born, so he's been a GP for 49 years. Married with 3 children, he lives in Bedfordshire and is the author of a practical workbook for the depressed Christian, as well as books on computing. He writes prolifically on a wide range of subjects and has been a regular contributor to medical programs on radio and television. So, let me read you a bit of the blurb. Paul, the charmer with the killer instinct, Derek, the family man, Mary, the new ager, Martin, the preacher of peace, Peter, the policeman who'd lost everything, Anne, the devoted mother, Kevin, the unemployed misfit, Chris, the efficient radio presenter, Jane, the glamorous TV girl. All of them had their whole way of life turned upside down, marooned in the small market town of Ant Hill after civilization collapsed around them. They had to learn how to survive. All of them made shattering discoveries, some terrifying, some inspiring, some shocking. It all began with a mouse. Yeah, that's what these books are all about. It's about a plague that hits the United Kingdom. It doesn't just stay in the United Kingdom, it goes all over the world. But this is the very first in the novels. And as I say, to get one is rare as a first edition, but to get the second one and then the second one, I should learn to count, and the third one, and this is Ant Hill. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. To be able to get all three together in one hit was unheard of, and to have them all as first editions is amazing. So I'm very, very pleased. Let's see. Ant Hill, the second one. Still a small voice. Ant Hill, the tiny community, is surviving just, but slowly, gradually, they are coming to terms with the aftermath of the plague. The harvest is in. Paul, the strategist, is pleased with their new stocks of food. Martin, the vicar who'd lost his faith, has sorted out his religious problems. Derek, once an engineer, has settled into his new role as doctor. Peace, tranquility, and order have descended. They are surviving, or so they think. Then three strangers arrive, and their whole world is turned upside down again. Wow. And After the Fire 3 Chronicles. 4 years after the plague, life is still precarious for the survivors of Ant Hill. Can they survive the loss of an entire harvest, or repeated raids by the starving? Must they recreate the whole structure of war and defence? Can the fortunate survivors not live together in peace? The third volume of John Lockley's imaginative and disturbing saga continues the story of Ant Hill community. Radio communications have expanded their world, so that Paul's strategic thinking, Martin's wise diplomacy, and Alan's practical skills are widely respected. But each of the principal characters in this drama has undergone profound and thought-provoking changes in their basic worldview and most deeply held beliefs. As I say, to get one is amazing. To get two is fantastic. But to have all three is marvellous and unheard of in a first edition. Yes, we are dealing with a plague. We're dealing with, I think it's a Legionnaire's disease that was in a mouse that escaped out of a laboratory, and England went to pot. Think Survivors on steroids. Yeah. Survivors hit our shelves in 1976, and these came to us in 1994. Yeah, that's when these were printed, in 1994. I couldn't find the hardbacks. It's somebody out there has them, and they're sitting on a nice little nest egg. Compare to what I paid for these little darlings. Let me think. This was 35, 40, and that was 40. But they are amazing. They are amazing books. I got chatting with a fellow booktuber. Crikey, if I can remember his name, I'll pop it in the description. Anyway, he had a copy of these, and I was like, oh yes, ooh, that's piqued my interest. I like plague. I like the plague. Yes, I like that kind of gritty survival, dystopian, apocalyptic. What's going to happen to the United Kingdom? What's going to happen to the world? Are we going to make it? Will we survive as the human species? Will we, become a better version of ourselves? Or are we destined to crawl under a rock and die there? It's that kind of thing. I love a dystopian, scary future. I like it in a book. I don't like it in real life. who who would? But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting my little mitts into these and having a really good read and reporting back to you what I think of these darling books. So yeah, thank you very much for popping by. Just 10 minutes just to let you know that I finally got hold of the John Lockley collection of the Plague of Britain, mm, caused by a teeny tiny mouse. So I will let you know in due course what I thought. Take care, my darlings, and I hope you're all reading fabulous things. Yeah, as I always say, happy readings, darlings, and enjoy. And if you like what I do, you can always give me a thumbs up. And if you really like what I do, you can always give me a follow. And you never know what I'm going to find and read and want and do next. Always an adventure with a fairy. Take care, my darlings. Bye bye.